Welcome to Let's Talk About It. A podcast gives a platform for real talk, real people, real topics, real conversations. Please subscribe, like, comment, enjoy this journey, and enjoy this ride. Welcome to this week's episode. Welcome, everybody, to Let's Talk About It. A podcast gives a platform for real talk, real people, real topics, real conversations. Before I bring on my next amazing guest, and I would like to thank the subscribers I have already, and plus the people who are watching this for the first time. Please subscribe, please like, please share. It's right at the bottom. You'll see it. And I want to thank everybody for giving me over 10,000 subscribers. I really appreciate that. It puts me into a different algorithm. I'm very happy. I'm very excited by it. But today's guest is going to be something different today. Service dogs. We see them on planes, see them in the supermarket. We see them like walking around. A lot of people don't understand. So my guest today is going to explain how she had her service dog over 17 years. And she going to tell us about her journey, how she got her service dog. She has an amazing journey. She's a former U.S. Army vet. Amie, how are you?
I am blessed. So I am actually here in Texas.
Okay.
I got my service dog here in Texas. His name is Prince. I talked to him in first person because he was my child. 17 years is a long time. I got him when he's a couple months old. And he was the world. I don't have any children that I've given birth to. I have a stepdaughter who is my world as well, the two of them.
Okay.
But he was my baby, and he passed on September 9th, and he was cremated on 9/11, which as a veteran, that's a big day for us. But it's befitting of him because he lived a very amazing life. A lot of people say, yeah, my dog was awesome. My dog was special. My dog actually changed lives. Every person he came into contact with, their life was changed. People that met him once have told me, I'm so sorry about Prince. That was your child. Like he had a soul in him. So he was a little bit different. So, I got him, I think he was a couple months old when I first got him. A friend of mine, ex-boyfriend, we had been together for 17 and a half years. He got him for me. So I wouldn't be alone because he firsthand saw my PTSD before we knew I had PTSD. And Prince immediately started reacting. Like when I would go to sleep and I would have nightmares, he would lick me and wake me up. So it was at that point we decided to have him trained to be a service dog. $7,000 later, because I got no help from the VA or anyone. That was before service dogs were big. Now there's all kinds of foundations and everything to get another service dog. I've actually been approached by 2 different organizations to give me another service dog, but I've refused. Everybody thinks I should get one, but I'm not. I can't deal with this anymore. But we paid for him to get trained. He was trained. It was an intense training. He got his little vest. I actually still have his vest. He got a little chunky through his lifetime, through all the treats. So we had to get him a new vest, but and that's what he was wearing in the end. But I have his original vest, and he knew how to react. That poor baby, he was thrown so many times because when you have PTSD and you're going through it, you don't know what you're doing. You black out. You see red and then that's it, especially if you're waking up from a nightmare. And I have PTSD and MST. And for those of you that don't know, PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder, which civilians, I guess, can get it too. But mine is due to military. And then I have MST, which is military sexual trauma from being raped in the military. And unfortunately, when that happens, as it does a lot, and it happened before me, and most people know the Vanessa Guillen story at Fort Hood, but Unfortunately, that's been going on for years, hundreds of years. As long as we've had women in the military, it's been happening. And so, um, yeah, so that happened to me in AIT, which is a big thing. And so I would wake up from nightmares. I would stop breathing. I hold my breath and I stop breathing. And Prince would lick me and I would throw him. And he's hit the wall many, many times and lived to tell about it. But unfortunately, after he got his training, he decided he was going to eat an onion and had neurological damage. So he was better after that. He was in the vet for a couple days. Got IVs, all better, nothing wrong with him for his whole lifetime. Um, in his lifetime, he saved my life at least 3 times.
Mm.
Physically, I have lots of medical things. I mean, I have 2 good vertebrae in my back. I was dropped in basic training, got up, stayed in the field for 3 days. Fast forward 20 something years, and I have a traumatic brain injury they found, which they didn't have back then. You know, a lot of things that they found wrong with me now, we didn't know about back then. Because I was in 98. So,
Yeah.
um, I was in from 98 to 2000. My mom became terminal. I had orders to go to Korea, and my commander sat me down and said, "You have to get out. Your mom's dying." And I said, "I don't want to." And he said, "You don't have a choice." So I got out. Biggest mistake of my life. But, you know, God has a reason and a purpose for everything. And I believe he still uses me daily, with the hashtag Bless a Stranger challenge that we do,
Mhm.
on Thursdays and Fridays. I know you've seen it on my TikTok.
Yes, I have.
So he allows me to help other veterans through my TikTok platform. I've actually been able to, because of what I've been through, and I've been saved, which I'll go over that in a minute. He's allowed me to help 15 veterans from committing suicide through TikTok. So he's allowed social media, the platform, to use me to help other veterans, which is a blessing. Um,
Now, Amy, let me ask you a question here.
yeah,
Like, let's go back to the beginning. What made you decide to go in the army in the first place?
it is a family tradition. My grandmother, Shapley, served. Um, she was one of the first females that ever saw combat. Um, she met her husband in the army. They met. She was actually in a war zone. So my grandma and grandpa Shapley, and then my grandfather Reynolds, my great grandfather Reynolds, my great great grandfather Reynolds. So the only person in my generation is my cousin, who is actually SF. Um, he's in, but everybody else, we're the last of the dying breed, so to say. But it's something I knew from knee high to a grasshopper. That's what I was going to be. Um, I actually had an opportunity to go to Mass Maritime Academy on a football scholarship because I played football in high school because my grandmother raised me. You can do anything you put your mind to. Don't let the
Awesome.
fact that you're a woman stop you. So
Okay.
I decided I was going to go in the military. I played football in high school, offensive guard, offensive tackle, defensive tackle.
Okay.
And yeah, and my cousin went before me and he's like, "Yeah," he told his coach, you got to meet my cousin. They're awesome. They're badass. Like they help people. Like they hurt people every game." So his coach comes thinking I'm a man, and then I take my helmet off and he's like, "Oh, you're a girl, but you're good." I was like, "Yeah." So I was the first woman, first female to play football in Massachusetts. Um,
Wow.
yeah.
Right. Did they
So
do any articles and stuff like that on you?
They did back in the day. I think I was on the news. I didn't pay it no mind because I was doing what I wanted to do. I like to hit people. It's how
Oh,
I took out my
okay.
aggression. I'm being honest.
Okay.
That's how I took out my aggression. I had an angry childhood, and so that's how I got it out. And people that know me will tell you, yeah, yeah, that was her. So um,
So when you was playing football, right, did the other guys talk shit to you or say, "Oh, she's a girl. It's no,
sometimes
I'm gonna go right over."
when they realized it, but I didn't wear nail polish. I kept my hair up. I wore pads so that you couldn't see I was a woman, um, or a female. And the guys always had my back. Like there was one time I got punched in the chest when one of them figured out I was a girl, and we
Mhm.
lost that game. But for the most part, everybody always had my back. Like they knew I was one of the guys. You know, there was never any question. They knew.
All right.
And it's funny because the guys I went to high school with now tell their nieces, and some of their nieces play. And so it's kind of funny, like that I was the OG.
Oh, I
So,
love that. Amie, walk me through when you went to basic training. Walk me through the first day of basic training.
so my first day of basic training was totally different than most people's. Um, so I flew from San Antonio, Texas. I did MEPS. I joined in Bastrop, Texas. I had the best recruiter ever. Absolutely love my recruiter. He stayed with me. Um, through basic training and AIT, he kept in contact with me. Everybody says, "Oh, I hated my recruiter." I had a great recruiter. He let me wait to become a mechanic. Like I could have gone in as a nurse. I could have gone in. My scores were really high, but I wanted to be a mechanic. I've been turning wrenches with my dad since I was about 5, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a soldier and a mechanic, and that's what I did. Um, and so I went to MEPS. We ran the Riverwalk. If you've ever been to the Riverwalk, we ran it at about 2
Yes.
a.m. It's
Uh-huh.
beautiful. It's even more beautiful
Hmm.
when nobody's there and we're running. That's how we exercised the night before. We left MEPS. There was a group of us. We got on a plane to Atlanta, Georgia, and I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. The bus broke down, and I left June 28th, June 28th, 1998. My actual date of enlistment is July 3rd. That's what it says. But June 28th, we left. And the bus broke down. And it was a hot summer. It was already hot
Mm.
then. The bus broke down. We had no AC. We were stuck on the side of the road for about 4 hours. We were all
Damn.
dehydrated. Yeah, yeah. When we got to basic training, it was so bad they were taking people off and bringing them to to medic. Like the medics were coming. We were all so dehydrated, so we didn't get off the bus and have our our bags tipped upside down and all that. We didn't do all that because we were like lucky to be alive because we were all so hot and dehydrated. We had we waited in basic for basic training to start about 3 weeks. I was actually at Fort Jackson so long that if I had spent one more day between basic and AIT and just the wait, I would have become permanent party. Some of us did because we were there so long. So basic,
Damn.
I met some of the best friends. I actually am still in contact with 3 people from basic training. They are my battle buddies. One of them is actually on TikTok. I talk to him all the time, Bets, but um, I have a couple of friends on Facebook that I've been in basic with that I've known since 1998. So
So you had a rough first day. So
yeah,
walk me
we had a rough.
through walk me through basic training overall.
So basic training. I'm the kind of person, if you tell me I can't do it, not only am I going to do it, I'm going to do it better than you expected me to, and I'm going to do it faster. I will go until I die. Like I keep on going. Um, just how I've always been. My dad raised me. If you're going to do it right the first time so somebody doesn't have to come back and do it for you. Um, you don't waste people's time. And so basic training, I did a lot of push-ups. I had a drill sergeant that didn't like me. I couldn't do pull-ups. I pushed up Fort Jackson. Uh, Fast forward, we did a lot of KP. We had a chick in there. I'm not gonna say her name, but we have a joke about her out of
Okay.
respect. But
Okay.
she ended up getting more med boarded out in basic because she had we were in KP and she mixed pine sol and bleach, and that causes a bomb. And she tried to kill us all because she was crazy.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So we had a great group, but I actually have a tattoo. I'm not going to whip it out, but I have a tattoo. It says 6 pack. There were actually, more than 6 of us, but all the guys have the same tattoo. And it was Jaquan, Pimp, which was Fruin, or no, I'm sorry, Nunez, and then Big Pun, which was Fruin, myself, and then Rogers was part of the group at some point, but then she got dropped, and then Para. Um, so there was a group of us, and we were just inseparable. The guys and I got along. I always had at that point females were supposed to be with females, but the males they outnumbered us, and so a lot of times it was me with 2 guys. That's how it ended up being. But I would trust these men with my life. They would never do anything to hurt me. They were my best friends.
How
Um,
was that for you going through that with your buddies all throughout basic training? How was that?
so basic
Like
training was
overall.
great, but so we fast forward to towards the end of basic training, we have this thing called the challenge course, and there's a
Mhm.
thing called the Berlin Wall. So the Berlin Wall is where you climb up a person, you climb up the knotted ropes like you had in gym class when you were in school, and
Yeah.
then you grab up on the top and you rappel down the other side. Well, there was a kid named Ash that was at the top, a scrawny little white boy, and he dropped me. He dropped me 8 feet. Well, the drill sergeant, they put me with a bunch of other people. They didn't put me with my crew because there was this girl Tubbs and it fit her description, if you know what I mean. Her last name fit her description. She was very bottom heavy. So they put him with my friends because my friends were the strongest in the group. Put him with them and then put me with somebody else. Well, my crew was behind me in the challenge course and they saw me fall. And to this day, like if you ask vets, they blame themselves for me falling. And it wasn't their fault. But because I wasn't with them, I was dropped. I was dropped 8 feet. I had rope burn from my hoo-hoo to my forehead. My head went back like this, like a bobblehead, and I was knocked out for about 25 minutes. They couldn't revive me. I woke up and I was like, okay, let's go. The commander, she said, you have two options. You can reclass, which is start all over again, or you can suck it up and drive on. I said, give me some water and some ibuprofen. Let's go. Biggest mistake of my life, but I'd do it all over again. We
Right.
didn't know I had injury to my back or my neck or anything at that point, and I stayed in the field for 3 days. Um, I was unable to dig my own foxhole at that point because I sure did try though, because the ground at Fort Jackson is clay. So my battle buddy and my friends, they helped me. Para was my battle buddy through this obstacle course, and then the guys, Wright and Betts, and they all helped me dig my foxhole. We were in our foxhole. My battle buddy, she had asthma, and I gave her my mask. So I got smoked for that because her mask was unsealed because we don't get good things in basic. We get the same thing the class before us had. And so same water bottles, same masks, same everything. So they're all used, you know. And
Mhm.
but I kept on driving on and we did our ruck march. So the last mile or so of the ruck march you jog. Um, we were probably quarter of a mile away and I collapsed. And my drill sergeant picked me up and carried me. I couldn't go any further because the pain in my back. And that's not allowed. But they allowed it because, you know, I had gotten through, took me to the TMC. Mind you, my parents had come down. My dad and my stepmom had come down to basic training graduation because it's a big thing. Um, and they had me in the TMC before graduation. They're like, sit in this wheelchair. I sat down. They said, now get used to it. I said, no, I'm never going to be in a wheelchair. I said, I can do this. I said, I'm not getting out. You're not getting me out. This is my calling. I'm going to be a soldier. So I got up, took some Tylenol, rubbed some dirt on it and kept on going. My mindset has always been weakness is pain leaving the body, even in football. Weakness is pain leaving the body. Made
Mhm.
it to AIT, get to AIT. Some of the people, it was still at Fort Jackson. Some of the people from basic training were there still, but not everybody. And because, you know, you all go to your separate AIT, which is advanced individual training for
Yeah.
civilians. Not all branches do the same thing, but with the military, with the Army, you choose what your job is going to be. It's where I
Got
chose to be a mechanic. I get there, the class before us. So our drill sergeants were heavy on us. The women's, so the CQ desk was right here, the gym was right here, and then the women's, that was the hall for the women's bunks. We only got a little spot where the guys got the other 3 floors.
yeah.
And so we were in, sorry, this part's kind of tough. I was with my battle buddy and she had to go to the bathroom. We were, now mind you, I had already broken my back. So, and I'm making it work. So we are going through and the drill sergeants had already shaken us down once. So my battle buddy, she had to go to the bathroom. I was like, okay, well, we only have so much time to clean up this gym. I'm gonna stay here. We were with two males. I was like, I'm gonna stay here. I'm not alone. This was back when, in basic training in AIT at Fort Jackson, battle buddies consisted of two females and two males. There was no cross section. They made an exception in basic training because we kept on breaking the rule. Now, at Fort Jackson, it is for a female, two females, like two females together, or one female and two males. What I'm about to tell you is why I don't agree with this. So I was in the gym with two males. My battle buddy went to the bathroom. I'm still in the gym with two males. At that point, they cornered me and raped me. I went to the barracks. I went to my bed and I started crying. I'm not a crier. Mind you, I had been raped before in my life. One of the other females came up to me and asked me what happened. I told her. We reported it. I got an Article 15. They tried to push me out of the military. My congressman came out and spoke on my behalf. I called my recruiter and told him. I called my mom and told her. My recruiter contacted, and my mom contacted our congressman. He came out to Fort Jackson and spoke on my behalf on my trial because they were trying to push me out of the military because it was my fault, because I was by myself. I had an Article 15.
Hold on a second. So you was sexually assaulted by
Mm-hmm,
two males. When you
mm-hmm.
reported this, like, what are the chain of command you had to report it to? What's the, like, the chain of command? Do you report it to your drill sergeant? Did they go to somewhere else? Like,
Yeah.
how do you go about that?
So we went to the drill sergeant. From the drill sergeant, we went to the first sergeant. Then we went to the commander. Nobody believed me. It was my fault. I not only did I get an Article 15, which I do have, it's actually in a safe. I hold on to it, so it will nothing will ever happen to it.
Huh.
But I reported it
I'm very confused. I'm sorry, Amy. I'm
they
very confused. Why did they say it was your fault?
because I should not have been alone. I should have went with my battle buddy to the bathroom. Even though we had a time, we would have been punished if that weight room hadn't been cleaned in time. Like everybody in the barracks would have been punished, not just us. The whole barracks we're a team. So in the military, you're a team. If one person screws up, everybody pays for it. So I'm trying to do the right thing by making sure that the gym is cleaned in the time frame that we had. And yeah, so
So, so your congressman came down and sat at your trial. Like he defended
yeah,
you at your trial, and
yeah.
they basically kicked you out of the military.
Nope,
Did
they
could
didn't.
you like?
They didn't kick me out
No,
because
okay,
he came and spoke on my behalf. However, I
okay.
was still given an Article 15. I did push-ups every single day. I was still treated like crap. I did push-ups every single day. I pushed up Fort Jackson. They made my life hell. I didn't get any. So in basic and AIT, you earn passes, weekend passes to go out and have fun. During AIT, I was never given my civilian clothes. I was never allowed to go on pass. Um, I was treated very poorly. And then I finally graduated and I went to my permanent party, and some of the people from my AIT were at my permanent party, and they let everybody know I was a troublemaker, that I started trouble. My drill sergeants actually told males that I was friends with that they were forbidden to talk to me because they would catch a case. They would get an Article 15 for talking to me because I was starting trouble. That's what the male drill sergeant said. So, and I only know that because the males, my friends told me, because we had been through basic together. Um, there was a guy, Fernando. Um, he was from Las Vegas, and he's the one that told me. And Nunez and I were inseparable in basic. He was one of the six pack, and he couldn't even talk to me. He wouldn't talk to me. He was too scared. So, but I will
How
say
was
at
your
one point,
mental at this time, Amy? How was your mental at this time?
I thought that I was wrong. It's crazy. And this is something I've never shared. So I suppressed a lot of stuff. Since Prince has passed, I've remembered a lot of things. Um, But I remember in AIT, the drill sergeants and sergeants that were, 'cause it's not just drill sergeants. You know, you have the teachers and everybody gets CQ. Everybody gets CQ. And I remember one of the sergeants trying to sleep with me. And I was just like, I'm not like that. Like, you got me fucked up. And I did push-ups. Like, it's a thing. In the military, if you want your rank, especially in an all male MOS, that's how you get your rank. That is not how I got my rank. I'd like you to know that I didn't do that, and women can attest to it. And not everybody's woman, and not everybody's story is the same. You know, some women have had great experiences, but unfortunately, I know several women, because I am very influential and in the veteran community. I know several women that have gone through what I've gone through. So,
This sounds like
um,
some Jeffrey Epstein shit.
you'd be surprised. Um, it's crazy, but you know what? God allowed it to happen because he knew I could handle it, and he knew later on in life I could help other people, and I could tell my story and help other people. So, and it's
All
not just
right.
women who get raped and stuff, it's men too. And men are even more hesitant to come forward.
So it happens to men in there as well.
Yeah, I know some men that actually have MST.
So
Yep.
when you went through this now, like this is years later, do you like think about that now, right? Because I guess that's why you need your service dog for that
Yes.
to help
Um,
calm you. Like, but
I have nightmares about
that's
it.
something big.
I relive
That's
it
very
all the
big. Listen,
time.
I'm just at all right now. But I'm sorry, Amy. Go ahead, continue your story. I'm just like as shocked right now.
Yeah, I relive it. That's where Prince came in. You know, this is probably TMI, and you can cut this out if you want.
Go
But
ahead.
because of this, because of what I've been through, I'm 45. I can count on one hand the amount of orgasms I've had because of this. Like, I was married for 8 years. It affects my sex life. It affects the way I look at myself. It affects me. Um, I am very dominant. Um, I try to trust everybody. I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but I am always on my guard. I am always, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I always say I'm sorry. If you ask anybody, they'll tell you I say I'm sorry a lot. And it's because of what I've been through, because it was drilled into my head that it was my fault. And I'm an MST survivor. On my truck, on my pickup truck, it says FMST. So FMST. You know what I mean? Um, I've been to MST workshops and spoken and helped other people. I belong to an organization called Divas and Dog Tags, one of my organizations. I'm an executive board member. That is all women veteran. And all we do is help each other. And unfortunately, MST is something that so many women that have served in all the branches have dealt with. You know, most women
What,
that have served either have PTSD or MST or both.
Amy? One question here, right? When you met your husband, like, did you have this discussion with him? Like, how was that discussion when you told him that happened to you?
My husband is not like most people. And actually, I have already filed for divorce once and it was denied. So I'm getting divorced. I'm in the process again of getting divorced. As I say, ex-husband, uh,
Got,
is not understanding. That's a whole nother story, but he,
got you.
he's not a good person. He can be a
Has,
good person, but he's not always a good person.
has any man you dealt with since then been understanding and to your situation?
Yes, I do have some good friends. I don't tell a lot of people my story because, especially dating, you don't want them to know, because if they are like that, they will prey on you. Um, I found that to be true. Um, or they're just like, whatever, that didn't happen. I get that a lot. So I just kind of keep quiet. I have a great support system of women. I do have, I talk to my battle buddy Well, we usually talk almost every day, but some stuff's been going on. So, but he knows and we talk about it. I have a couple male friends that are like my best friends and we talk about it. But I mean, it makes it hard to date because it's really hard to trust people now. And
Yeah.
especially with the way things are now, everybody just wants sex. Like that's it's the hookup. And that's not what I'm into because I mean, I don't really get much from it, because of what I've been through. And that is not what I'm looking for. And a lot of people, like even on TikTok, I get probably 50 messages a day telling me, oh, you're beautiful. Let's get married. Or you're beautiful. Can we hook up? And I'm just like, no, sorry. I'm not into that. I'm not looking for that. And unfortunately that's the vibe now. That's what everybody's looking for is just a quick, you know,
All right. So when is the part when you first decided or you to get a service dog? Was it someone that told you should have one, or like take me through that process of that? But before you do that, I just want to let everybody know there are about 500,000 service dogs in the United States of America.
hmm
500,000. 27% of adults in the U.S. have some type of disability that involves a service dog. Over 10,000 guide dogs are currently working in the U.S. That's for the blind. It takes an average of 1 to 2 years to train a service dog, which I did
hmm
not know, but that's amazing.
Yep.
And this is one that's crazy. I didn't know this. People in need of a service dog may have to wait up to 1 to 5 years. Why
Veterans that
one
are
to
in
five
need,
years?
veterans that are in need of a service dog now. I don't know about now, but about 5 years ago, it was about 10 years. I mean, it was hard for veterans. There was a lot more organizations and they're rescuing them from pounds and making them into service dogs, but it was even longer because we have so many veterans with PTSD, MST. I mean, you think about it, everybody that came back from Iraq and Afghanistan, fortunately, I never went there, but I did go to Bosnia. I've been to Panama. Um, and, and we're messed up. And unfortunately, you can see a veteran, and we identify as veterans, and we're treated a lot better than my Vietnam brothers and sisters. But the thing is, not all wounds are visible, and a lot of people don't get that. And we're trying to get that message out. 22 veterans die a day. And now it's up. And I actually have a tattoo. That's what my shirt is about. It's about stay. You're not alone. And 22, my 22 hashtag, that's 22 military and vets commit suicide daily, and the numbers are
Oh,
up. And
oh my
even
God.
with a service dog, I mean, Prince has laid on my gun. I had my gun to my head on my knees next to my bed one day because I couldn't take it anymore. And he licked my forehead and I put the gun down and he laid on my gun and bit me. Prince has only ever bit me 3 times. I'm the only person he's ever bit, and he bit me 3 times. Once when I was going to spank my stepdaughter when she was little. Once when I put my gun on and I tried to get it from him because it was locked and loaded and he was laying on it and I didn't want anything to happen to him. I didn't care about me, but I didn't want anything to happen to him. And then when my aunt passed and I picked him up off of her body, he bit me. It's the only time he ever bit me.
So when did we? When did you first have a service dog, or even heard or hear about it? When was that first interaction?
So we got Prince, and my ex got Prince for me. One of my ex-boyfriends. Like I said, we had been together for 17 and a half years. Um, because he knew that I didn't need to be alone. And we figured a dog. My friend actually, he was a rescue. And my friend had a dog named Chewy, who was a multi-poo mix. And I loved her dog. And so she's like, I found Chewy a friend. So we got Prince, and he started demonstrating things like waking me up at night. And he could tell when my mood shift. And I have fibromyalgia, so I have flare-ups. And they used to be really bad, but since I've changed my diet and exercise routine, they've gotten better. I don't have them as often, but he could tell when I was about to have a flare up. And so we're like, yeah, he's already acting like this. Let's look into getting him made into a service dog. And then we did. We paid and got him into service dog. I have my ex to thank for that. And we made him into a service dog. And I mean, he just kept on doing the same things. And he started waking me up at night, and he knew when I was having panic attacks. I started having panic attacks. Um, I've literally I've had 2 panic attacks while he was alive. Since he's passed, I've had a lot more. I mean, the other day I was laying on the closet floor in a ball crying. And I'm not a crier. I have never been a crier. I have helped 6 family members end of life care. And I have cried more over my service dog dying than I have in my whole life. And I buried my mom and my
Wow.
grandma and both my grandfathers and now my aunt. And Prince is what broke me. So
Wow.
sorry.
So, no, it's okay. Hey, listen, you had him for 17 years. Wow, that's all right. So take me through the whole process of like, how where it was for 17 years with him, the ups and downs of it. Like give us a little bit more examples of having a service dog throughout those years.
I had him everywhere. He was like a child, like a 5-year-old that you can't get rid of because you can't quite send him to school yet. That was my baby. I didn't take vacations. If I went to see my family in Massachusetts, Prince was there. If I went to um, wherever I went, he was there. Um, I bathed him. He took showers with me. I know that's weird, but because of my back injury, I can't bend over the tub. So I bathed him once a week. He was in my arms because I don't like dogs that smell. He was hypoallergenic, so nobody could complain about him and say, "Oh, I'm allergic to him. You can't have him." No. When we flew, he flew on my lap. We had all the paperwork. I actually have an ID card that states he's a service dog. I have his tag and I have his vest. So, because when people started having service dogs and bringing them on planes or service animals, it caused problems for those of us that actually had trained service animals, service dogs. And so they had their companion. So I went and got his ID. I have his vest and I have his tags that state he's a service dog. Um,
Oh, so there's a difference between a companion dog and a service dog.
yes, there is. So I actually have had seizures. We didn't know it was because of my TBI, which is behind my left eye. TBI is traumatic brain injury. For those that don't know, it's from when I fell. Um, we didn't know why I had a seizure, but that's why I had it. He could tell when I was about to. And so because of that, he's not a therapeutic dog. So people with PTSD, they're considered therapeutic dogs. Because, which I think that they should be considered service dogs no matter what. If you have PTSD, if you're a veteran, it should be a service dog, not a therapeutic dog, because it is so hard for us to fly. I've flown one time. Um, I've flown a total of 3 times without Prince lately because he was sick and I couldn't fly with him and I had to come back to Texas for appointments. But there was
Mhm.
one time I flew to North Carolina to see my parents after they moved, when my aunt was sick, when she was first sick and diagnosed with brain cancer. And I flew without him and I had a panic attack. I was drunk on the plane because I couldn't handle it. Um, I was in line at Austin Airport and there were several, I'm trying to be politically correct, um, of Arabic descent
Got it.
people with the garb, um, the full garb,
Yeah.
and it set me off as I did time in Bosnia, and I don't talk about that though. I'm sorry. Um,
Got it.
that's part of my PTSD, and it's
Got it.
very real. Um,
Got it.
but so I was fully on alert, high fibromyalgia flared up, fight or flight, like ready to go. Like I was back in Bosnia at that point. I get on the plane and I sit in the first seat. I have priority boarding because I'm a veteran with PTSD. If y'all ever fly, especially Southwest, tell them at the SkyCap that you are a veteran, show them your ID, and they will give you priority boarding because they are veteran friendly. Delta, not so much. Um,
Mhm.
I will never fly Delta again. But
Yes.
especially after what just happened. But so I was the first seat. on the plane, first one on the plane. The only people that get on before me are wheelchairs. And sometimes I do need a wheelchair because sometimes my legs give out. But first seat on the plane, and I see them all getting on. And I'm like on edge. At 7 o'clock in the morning, I started drinking. And so Prince really helps me when I fly because he's on my lap. And the other times that I've flown, once he had just literally passed 4 hours prior, and that was the hardest flight, and the flight attendants were amazing, and they helped me. And then my layover, one of my sisters in arms was there in St. Louis, and she got on the plane and she just sat with me, and then I got off the plane and my best friend was there, and I had my sisters in arms with me, and the day he died, and it made a big difference. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to fly again. Because having him, it changes it. When you have your service dog and you're flying, all your attention is on your dog. Your dog is there with all his attention on you, or her attention on you. And it makes a difference. It calms you. It calms your spirit. Prince would do that for me. And, I have the FAFO mentality. I have nothing left to lose. I've lost everything this year. And my Texas mom, Mama Sharon, she reminded me, would Prince want you to be like this? Like he was your everything. Would he want you to live? Because he gave his life for you. Or would he want you to not care anymore? And that's kind of what's snapping me back. Because I already am feisty. Challenge me and I will accept it. And I've had to calm down a little bit because that snapped me back. He wouldn't want that from me. He wouldn't want me to be hurting the way I am. And like I said, I'm not a crier. And it's really embarrassing for me to cry in front of people.
All right.
I was
Let it out.
raised, I was one of the matriarchs of my family. We don't cry. When we cry, even though I'm the second oldest cousin, when we cry, everything is at a loss. So I don't cry. I'm Italian. I don't cry. I'm the strong one in the family. And so when I tell you I've cried at least once, usually 3 times a day since August 9th, that's saying something. I'm broken. And I'm not the person that says I'm not okay. I always say I'm okay. And for the last month, I've been saying I'm not okay. Like coming back here, knowing his ashes were here, I drove back with my best friend in a U-Haul. We brought all of my aunt's artwork here to raise money for brain cancer research. We're going to sell it and raise money for brain cancer research. And as I got closer, I started having panic attacks. By the time I hit Arkansas, I couldn't drive anymore. I just completely collapsed. And she had to drive. And when I got here, I went to the doctor the next day, and I was on bed rest for 2 weeks because my body had started shutting down at the loss of him. It is like losing a child. Like I said, and my condolences to you, I can't imagine losing my child, but I kind of did. Prince was my everything. He's my whole world. He's outlast every relationship I've ever had. He's outlast my marriage. He's older than my stepdaughter. He's times 2 my stepdaughter. And then coming back and telling her I broke a promise. I've never broken a promise to her. And I broke a pinky promise, but you can't break a pinky promise.
No,
I
I
couldn't
can't
bring
do
him
that.
back. He died an hour before we were supposed to get on the plane. And I couldn't bring him back. And that was really hard for me.
Oh my
But
God. Amie, I'm so sorry. I am sorry. I
my
am sorry. You right. He was like your child. 17 years, man. That's a long time.
my
That is
biggest
a long
point
time.
that I want to tell people is, if you see a service dog, don't just pet him. Ask to pet him. Because Prince, I would let you pet him if you asked. But I didn't appreciate people because he would be the most playful, loving dog in the world. And actually, my friend gave me this stuffed animal that looks just like him. And once I put that vest on, he changed. He knew he was at work. And he was older and I didn't put the vest on him as much. He still came everywhere with me. Most of the places knew him. We go to Dutch Bros and they're like, "Where's Prince? Does he want a pup cup?" No, he likes a cup of ice water. I mean, he just they already knew, and everybody already knew him. I mean, everybody knew Prince. Um,
Wow. Hey,
and
Amy, do you think you'll get another service dog?
I will never get another dog. I made a promise to him, and all my friends are mad, and they know I need one. Actually, my mom has four dogs, my Texas mom, and this is a funny story. She has this dog. He's actually laying down on the floor. He would follow Prince around and drool over his back like he wanted to eat him, and I never let my eyes off of him. I was a helicopter mom when it came to him. His name is Chaco. This last time, and I came back a couple times without Prince, when I was coming back and forth for doctor's appointments when I was in Massachusetts. And Chaco paid me no mind. Chaco was mean. You gave him a treat and you had to watch your fingers because he would bite you.
Ugh.
Chaco, since I got back and Prince died, has been a love bug. He has a bed in my room here. He tries to sleep with me, but he's too old. He can't get up the bed. And he is just like the biggest mush ball. And I'm just like, who are you? Like everybody's confused because this isn't Chaco. And it's almost like Prince told him to love on me. And it's crazy because when I told him Prince died, because the way he was, so there's two dogs. When I told him that Prince died, he cried. Chaco doesn't cry. And then he's been waking me up on the same schedule that Prince used to wake me up. So it's kind of crazy. But, and then my dog's best friend is Brindle Pitt. His name is Tugger. And this
Mm.
little stuffed animal came from his owner, which was my old next door neighbor. And he used to look, she said he's tried to get, now when anytime he get a stuffed animal, he'd tear it up. But he got this one and he was licking it because he thought it was Prince. And he was trying to get to it. And when I told him Prince died, he cried. And so, um, but in long time, I won't ever get, these dogs have adopted me, but they're not mine. And I will never, ever get another dog. I can't do that to myself. Uh,
A-
it'll break
Amy,
me.
right before I wind this down, I got one question for you. You said something on your TikTok. I'm kind of curious about this. You said when you was like you said this on your TikTok, you was over 300 pounds. You're down to 151, but you said like the VA was telling you you was still overweight to help you out.
Yeah.
Like, what did you mean by that?
So I went from 375 pounds. I lost 100 pounds on my own. I had a hiatal hernia and I needed my gallbladder removed. The VA wanted me to do weight loss and they wanted me to get the gastric sleeve. I was hesitant, but I did it. I got down to 131 pounds and I had a lot of skin. I had more confidence in myself when I was a big girl. All my skin was filled in. I wear a faja now and you can see my stomach. This is actually all skin. I have a lot of extra skin. You can see it on my chin. I'm starting to fill out. I've gained some weight doing end of life care for my aunt. I wasn't working out, but I hit up the gym twice a day. I was doing 2 a days. I can go from flabby to six pack in 3 weeks. I've done it. I'm still wearing a size 5 jeans. I'm at 198 as of this morning, or yesterday morning. I didn't weigh myself this morning. I'm still trying to lose weight. I want to lose about 50 pounds for me because I want to be back in a size 2. But I was down to 131 pounds. I was wearing a child's extra large. My, at the time, 7-year-old, she's now 8, stepdaughter and I were wearing the same clothes. And they still told me I was too fat and I needed to lose weight, that I was grotesquely obese. I have heard that I was grotesquely obese since 2000. And, I think I'm just perfect the way I am. I'm trying to lose a little weight because I have a favorite pair of jeans, but yeah, the VA likes to body shame us. And then they denied my skin removal, which was part of the deal with the weight loss surgery. And so I've had complications from the skin removal because if you've lost a lot of weight rapidly, because I lost 100 on my own and then the rest within a year. For the first
Hmm.
9 months after that surgery, I could not eat. I was on protein shakes 3 times a day. I am going through another phase because of all the stress I've been under. It's been very hard for me to eat. Anytime I eat I mean, within 10 minutes, I have to be near a bathroom because I'm purging, which is, if you've had the gastric sleeve, you know what that is. It either consists of vomiting, diarrhea, or both. And unfortunately, I've been doing both. Um, and I'm still fighting with the VA because they say there's nothing wrong. And I mean, I did a colonoscopy a year and a half ago. I did 2 jugs. If you're at that age, you know what a colonoscopy is. You know the jugs? We call it the
Yeah, I
shushies.
know. I know.
I had
I
2 of
know.
those jugs. I had 4 of those pills the day before, and I fasted for a week. I was on liquids for a week, and I still wasn't cleaned out. But there's nothing wrong with me, they
Wait a
say.
minute. How you know how old I am?
Because
How
I
you
follow
know?
your birthday.
How you know I
You
had
don't
my
remember
little colon?
I wished you a
I
happy
mean, man.
birthday. Do you not
I
remember
mean, I
that?
know I'm old and all, but
We're not
damn, I
old.
mean,
We're not old. We classic. We classic. We classic and classy. You're just a little bit older than me.
Emmy, Emmy, right? Let me ask you your last opinion about this. What is your opinion today about body shaming?
I think it's ridiculous. I've always been a big girl. At a senior in high school, I was benching 20 pounds. I have
Damn.
big arms. Most of it's flab now and skin. I'm nowhere near where I used to be, but I'm getting there. Um, I've always been a big girl. I did plus size modeling before I lost all my weight. I was very confident in the woman I am, or I was. I have all this extra skin now, and I'm like, you want me to wear what? I have to wear a formal gown in 2 weeks, and I'm like, I think actually, for the first time in my life, wear Spanx because of all the extra skin, because it makes rolls, and I don't like that. Um,
Okay.
but I think body shaming is stupid. God made us a certain way because that's how He wanted us. And if we're fat or skinny, it doesn't matter because it's just more of us to love, you know? And it's funny because when I was big, everybody wanted to be little. Now, when I was skinny, everybody wants to be big. COVID,
Yeah.
when everybody gained weight in COVID, I was losing. And so it's crazy because I couldn't find clothes when I was big. And now I'm skinny and I can't find clothes. So it's crazy.
Emmy.
But I think you should just love people the way they are. I don't look at people's shape. I don't look at their and that's how I ended up with my ex-husband. If you look at my track record of my boyfriends in the past, nobody looks the same. I look at a person's heart and how they treat others. And
There you go.
as you can tell, you can get fooled by that, but it's a person's heart that attracts me, not their mind and their ambition, not what they look like.
All right. Well, Amy, we're going to wind it down now.
Can I say
I'm gonna
one
play my
thing?
little game. Well, go ahead.
So if you check out my TikTok, I've been asked by several veterans that I associate with if I could do a GoFundMe. My goal is to make Prince into a diamond. It cost
Okay.
about $1,500. Now that I'm back
Okay.
in Texas, I'm not working yet. I'm looking for jobs, but I'm not working. I'm just helping mom out right now till I'm physically good enough to go back to work. So I'm on the fixed
Okay.
VA income. And so I did a GoFundMe. If y'all want to check it out, I can give you the link as well. And it's to help make Prince into a diamond. It's about $1,500. But any help would be appreciated. So he's with me all the time.
Well, I'm definitely giving you the last word. No doubt about that, right? You could tell them where the link is and everything like that. So, but I'm gonna play this little game with you right quick.
And that's Prince.
And look at this.
That's my baby.
And you gonna say it all in the last word. Are you ready to play with me?
Always.
All right. All right. What was your first job?
My first job was Friendly's Ice Cream. I was an ice cream scoop in the fountain.
Huh. Okay. What's one word that best describes you?
Fierce.
Okay. What moment in your life would you want to experience one more time?
The birth of my stepdaughter.
Okay.
All the
What's
pain
the
her mama experienced, and I got all the love.
yeah. What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Roaches.
What?
Yeah, you eat some crazy stuff when you're in the military. I'm just saying. You learn how to live off the land.
Oh, that's just fucking nasty. Okay.
But hey, look, it's protein and you can survive off of it. I can survive anywhere in the world you drop me.
Yeah. Okay. What's a hidden talent no one knows about you?
I don't think I have any. Honestly,
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I don't know.
Come
I
on.
really, everybody knows all my talents. They know them better than me. Like my heart.
Okay.
I'm always here for people.
Okay. I got you. I got you. What was your favorite toy as a kid growing up?
My curious George. He was a stuffed
Oh,
animal.
really?
No, actually, no,
Oh,
no, no. Five
no.
Mouse Squits. I still have him and sleep with him at 45. Yes, I'm a big kid.
Okay. What's the best advice you ever gotten?
From my grandmother. And I said it earlier. She was a woman veteran, and she said, never let anything stop you just because you're a woman. You can do anything you put your mind to. And I tell my stepdaughter that every single day.
I'll bet that. All right. All right. What is one thing you wish you would known now back then?
There's so many. Uh, Probably about my marriage.
Okay.
Just sum it up. Yeah.
Yep. Got you. Last question for you, but before my little trick question. What era in history would you like to experience?
The Victorian age, but without the dresses.
Oh, of course, not the dress. No, you can't have
I wouldn't
dresses.
wear
No,
those
yeah.
I actually wear those dresses because I do Renaissance Festival. But mostly
Okay.
I dress up as a gypsy or a Viking because I don't like the
Okay.
corsets.
All right. This is my last question for you. Ready?
I am ready.
All right. Can you name 3 consecutive days without using the words Wednesday, Friday, Sunday?
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Ah, you must have heard that shit. You
No,
cheater.
I'm just smart.
Ah. Amy, I want to give you the last word of everything you said today. Maybe for someone who has heard your story today, that is going to be inspired by your story, especially everything you went through. Give a final message to people out there that can help them out in the future.
Well, for all my brothers and sisters in arms out there, you're never alone. I'm always here. I'm on TikTok. If you look up hashtag Bless a Stranger Challenge, you can find me. I think I'm under Sassy right now, Sassy's Place, but I'm Amie Ochoa. Um, you can find me anywhere. If you ever need to talk, I'm always here. There's lots of resources. Never give up. As my shirt says, stay, tomorrow needs you. No matter how bad it is, I've been through hell and back. I've tried to kill myself 3 times. I'm still here because God allowed it so that I could help others, and that's my mission in life. God will never give you anything you can't handle. He just thinks I'm a badass. That's why I'm still here. And he'll never give you anything you can't handle. He's allowing you to go through your journey so that you can help others. So never forget that, because no matter how bad it is, it's got to get better sometime. The sun always comes up. That's pretty much it. And if anybody ever
I
needs me,
love
I'm here. You know how to reach me. You can give out my information, um, give out my TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Snapchat. I give out my phone number to those that I really know and truly. I can't give my number out to everybody because my phone would never stop ringing.
it.
But with
Exactly.
this said, please do not hit me up and hit on me because that is not what I'm there for.
Where can people find your GoFundMe at?
GoFundMe is on TikTok and Facebook. My Facebook is private, so please send me a message before I add you because my stepdaughter's pictures are there, and so I don't make it public to everybody because her privacy is very important to me. But TikTok, look me up. Anytime you look up hashtag Bless a Stranger Challenge or hashtag Get Sassy with Amie, you will find me, and it's there. I appreciate the love and support of everybody. And remember, you're never alone. That's my biggest thing. I can't get out enough. When you feel like you're alone, you're not. We've been there. We've been through this. Someone can help you. If I can't help you, I can get you someone that can. No.
Amie, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you. Appreciate your time. You told an amazing story, amazing journey. Everything will be put into descriptions. Thank you so much for coming on with me today. And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next time on Let's Talk About It.
And I'll
Peace.
send you the link right now. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for watching the show. Please like, subscribe, comment. Stay tuned next week for another exciting episode on Let's Talk About It.